Hey everyone. So happy Monday. Okay, I see I go, and I've slightly misjudged my meetings this afternoon. So if I am going to run out of power, I'll have to run off and find some. See how I go. So. Awesome. So I've added a couple, I've got a few announcements. Most important one, family and friends, is coming up on Friday. Also, I do think some other people have got vacations coming up in the next sort of few weeks and months. If you wouldn't mind adding these in here, like for next week, so we get a bit of visibility of like what's coming up, that would be helpful. So I'm going to go for A, release managers. Happy Monday. What do you need us to help you with?
Do we want to explore retagging 1490?
Do you want to explore it? Like, yes, would it be useful for us to discuss
it? Yes, let's discuss.
So do you want to give us a little context on that? Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, so background, there's an incident today related to staging and how artifact uploads from, not artifact uploads, job trace uploads is not occurring properly. The reason why this flares up on staging and not anywhere else is because staging has geo enabled. There's a particular feature flag which is enabled by default that changes the behavior of the inner workings of how job traces work. And because of that inner logic, it is preventing job traces from properly being uploaded to cloud storage. Therefore, after a few minutes, job traces are automatically purged from whatever service is supposed to serve those or capture those. So after about 2 minutes, the job traces completely disappear and they're gone forever. So this is a pretty nasty bug. It only impacts people that are using Geo. So I guess there's two routes we could go through. One is picking that one change that disables that feature flag into our stable branch and retagging. The other option is to quickly release 14.9.1. I'm personally leaning towards 14.9.1 because that goes well with our procedures. That enables us to do an appropriate incident review on this without rushing, feeling stressed, allowing the developers to figure out what we missed during testing that allowed this to show up in the way it did. I don't want to dismiss all of that, but being that this also impacts people that use Geo, I would imagine the Geo feature is probably less used. And on top of that, if you're using Geo, you're probably going to take a little bit longer to upgrade. So we have a better chance of getting 14.9.1 out there before people who are using Geo and may have missed the messaging that, hey, there's an open issue if you upgrade. Hopefully we get 14.9.1 out there before that happens. One of the other reasons why I'm trying to stay away from retagging is I only have a conceptual idea of what I think needs to occur, but the permissions issue that I fear and then making sure I don't miss any place that has a tag worries me.
Do we know how many people have Geo enabled?
I don't know how to find information like that out.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, the bug sounds nasty, but if it only affects Geo, then I agree with your assessment. I think we should do a patch release immediately after the major release.
Yeah, I agree. I think with the, I guess with the options we have, I'm sad that we'd have to manually delete the tag in order to retag. I think given that we have to go through those steps, that feels high risk.
So there is two things that come to my mind. Is one, I wonder if we should consider building a process that enables us to retag. potentially like project level work that would go through and say, hey, if we already tagged 1490, go through all of our projects, delete those tags, and then we could start fresh from day 21 tasks or whatever day it was that we start the tagging procedure. I wonder if we want to explore that capability as a method of resolving potential issues in the future.
Do we have other things? Like I seem to have a vague recollection of us having an issue somewhere around considering what to do with change logs when we retag. Like, do we also have sort of complexities beyond just tags?
Probably there is something that we might need to investigate. Yeah.
So I think your suggestion is great, Skarbek. Let's stick with our process and let someone else tell us our process is not good enough. It doesn't meet the needs. I think we have a few options, right? I've seen that the team have already discussed the plan for the release post. We should probably suggest to them, we can do it in the Slack channel, like that they add something onto the upgrade docs as well for the upgrade path. It probably doesn't matter if we get the patch out quickly, but still, that's where people look to for guidance on how to upgrade. And then we follow our process and put a patch out. And then hopefully this is pretty rare, right? I feel like this may be like the second time in the time I've been here, like if even the second, like this is super rare. Cool. Okay, let's go with a like patch then, if that sounds the best thing to you, Skarbek, Ahmad.
Okay, so we could do that.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the first time we've had a 0.1 patch release on the 22nd. So
yeah, that's true.
Just do that.
Yeah. One thing, so we do need them to like get themselves organized for that. So we have everything ready to go, and then we can just start preparing that quite rapidly tomorrow.
So I know they've got various merge requests ready to go. So I think it's just a matter of, following up to make sure we're set for tomorrow effectively.
Awesome. Great. Do you need any help, Skarbek, on like the kind you mentioned, kind of doing a retro-y follow-up on this? Like, is the incident issue going to be the right place for that, or do you want to do that somewhere else?
The incident is certainly the right place to do that. That's how we found the issue, and that's kind of our procedure. So I'd say let's rely on the incident issue for that kind of thing.
Awesome. Sounds good. So aside from this fun, is there anything else that release managers need?
Just to kind of shed a little bit of other insight, I guess just to make sure people are caught up, Ahmad and I were working on a backport request prior to the 14.9 release. We got 14.8 out, but we still have two other backports, 14.7 and 14.6. Because of the issues that we ran into on Friday, I'm effectively delaying those until after the 22nd. So, those will get done eventually. I've already updated the issue with the backport, so they're well aware of this. We just need to kind of work together at some point to figure out what the new target dates for those would be. And we could let them know when we start the process back up again. So yeah, and then I guess at some point I need to work with Ruben for when we want to do security release that's coming up. So
you think you can combine the security release with the backports requests, or that is not an option?
Well, the backport for 14.8 was already done, so it's going to be like the new security release that includes 14.9, 14.8, and 14.7. So I guess from a technical standpoint, no.
Yeah, I'm just.
But I also have not taken a look at what's in the security release yet, so I don't know what else is out there.
Yeah, just a thought to see if that can help you save some time and effort.
Yeah.
But if it is not possible, well, then it is not possible.
In New York, most of my family's from
I'll try to take a look at that and see what we could do, but I'm leaning towards no, just because we already got a 14.8 patch out there, and I don't want to start mixing and matching too many things together. And I still need to get a 14.6 patch out, which is not going to be part of the security release. So
in terms of timing, that's like, totally fine, right? Like we've definitely got it written in our documentation that it's once we've agreed to do a patch, it's very much release manager discretion. So, schedule this around the tasks as you need to.
my gut reaction is just to start the security release probably next week. That way we don't have to worry about Family and Friends Day being in the middle of all this. But I'll work with Ruben on that since he's the inbound release manager for it.
Awesome. Great. Is there any other stuff that you need?
I hope not.
If there is, give us a shout. It's been a fun year so far. Myra, appreciate it.
Yep, thanks. So just as a reminder that we are currently working about removing the blocking nature of the post-deployment migrations. And I have recorded a kickoff video which presents the problem, the solutions, and the steps that we are going to take to hopefully achieve it. For those that don't know, we are basically removing the post-migrations from the coordinated pipeline up to a new independent coordinated pipeline that is going to be only for the post-deployment migrations. This pipeline, it is supposed to be executed at least once a day, and for starters, is going to be executed manually. And right now, we are working on adding some visibility about the pending post-deployment migrations to know if we have pending post-deployment migrations and which ones are the ones that are pending. And then the next steps are to work on actually building this new pipeline. And well, yes, as a reminder, we have a gauge metric on the release manager dashboard that tells you like, okay, there are 2 or 3 or 4 pending post-deployment migrations on staging or on production. And yeah, that's it. If you see any failure with this plan, or if you have a thought or something else, please let me know. And thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for recording that, Myra. And we're making great progress on actually picking up the issues. So they're continuing to be on the delivery board. If people are looking to pick up work for this stuff, then please look there. Awesome. So MTTP is looking very nice. So great work, everyone there. Great work getting the deployments out. You can see that we have a lot of deployments hitting. Actually.
What are you looking at? Like, I still don't see March in the MTTP in hours chart. So
I would suggest look on the monthly. So the monthly one is the one with the best sort of the one that I suspect the one that you were looking at, Skarbek, I don't think it has the current month on it. So I think it will always lag. I think there's a slightly, I have to dig into how they're set up, but this is the one that's the most current for sure. And I think what we see is MTTP is looking amazing. It's our lowest ever actually at the moment, which is incredible. And you'll notice that deployments are also highest ever. So I do think that it's obviously they're linked, but it's the frequency of them as well as the distribution of over the day. So MTTP looks amazing. I couldn't find any incidents with any deployment blocking labels. However, I do have the impression that last week was not a super great week. So do we have some incidents that need labeling?
Probably. There were definitely a few on Friday. So I probably just forgot to put the labels on those incidents.
Okay,
I'll
awesome.
comb through and look for them.
Yeah, would you mind, like, if I plan to do that tomorrow afternoon, does that give you two each like a day to review things? What I want to use these, what I'm trying to use these labels and events for is to go and request kind of improvements or highlight gaps. Like I noticed today, Ahmad, that you had a delay probably in getting hold of quality because there's actually no one from EMEA available this week, which seems like a bit of a gap actually on a release week. And I see we have the same setup in April. So I'm going to go and actually have a chat with quality and see if we can plan that in around. I know they don't have full 24-hour cover, but on release weeks, it would be really helpful to have like EMEA is almost certainly when we're going to hit QA problems on the monthly release. So that's really what I'm looking for. So highlighting kind of gaps or process chain problems or things that we can actually go and try and improve things on. I do think last week was slightly incident heavy. Is there any other stuff? Like I know we have lots of stuff, sort of, it feels very hands-on and there's lots of incidents and we're seeing lots of stuff from the deployments reordering, the pipeline reordering. But are there any other things that actually it feels like a sort of a systemic problem in either our process or our tools or setup that if we could fix would make release management easier?
I mean, I'm sure there is. I just can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Okay, have a think about that. Like I think, and maybe for you as well, like Matt, because you come out of as you finish your shift, have a think about like, you know, looking back over the last couple of months, are there other problems in the system that actually make this, aside from just there are lots of incidents or lots of things, like other things we should be trying to change? Oh. Is there anything anyone wants to bring up on the recording?